Hi everyone! Following an unbelievable response to my mental illness story video, I've decided to create this list of anxiety reducing techniques that I use to help me when I'm in the midst of a panic attack or feeling particularly on edge. Please keep in mind that these are things that sometimes work for me. They're not cure-alls and something different might work for you, but if any of them can help even one person get through one period of anxiety, it'll be 100% worth it for me. Now, I'm no doctor. These are coping strategies that help me personally. So do seek medical advice if you need to, and remember to always take care of yourself. If anything to do with panic and anxiety triggers you and you don't think it's a good idea to watch this video, don't. I would hate for anyone to feel worse after watching this than better, but hopefully you will feel better. So here are some symptoms of a panic attack first of all. It's often abrupt, so it comes out of nowhere. And it's very overpowering, so it makes it almost impossible to continue what you were doing beforehand. You might experience some of the following: shaking, sweating, dizziness, faintness, shortness of breath, rapid heart rate, chattering teeth, digestive issues. Now, to break that down, you might feel sick or have sudden diarrhea, which is actually to do with your fight or flight instinct. Now, let me explain this one, because sometimes having a proper explanation for why something is happening to you can help ease the fear around it. Fight or flight occurs as a response to acute stress, where your body's nervous system is activated by a sudden rush of hormones. This triggers more reactions and chemical releases throughout your body, and it can take up to an hour for the body to return to normal after the trigger has occurred. This whole process is completely natural, and it's designed to prepare the body to either fight the threat or run from it. Now, in caveman times, the fight or flight response was a fantastic survival aid. There was a lot more life-threatening emergencies and danger all around us, particularly from predators. So through evolution, we developed this stress response to help keep us alive. Now, think about needing to escape fast from a situation, like coming across a lion or something. The lighter on your feet you are, the faster you are. In fight or flight, your body will try to eject or purge as much waste as it can to make you lighter and be able to run faster. You're literally shedding everything that will weigh you down. Now, there's a massive connection between the gut and the brain. In fact, the gut is known as the second brain. So our brains help the gut function. Therefore, it's only logical that what's going on in your brain can have a direct reaction in your gut. Just think about how queasy you might feel before having to speak in public, for example. It's your gut reacting physically to the nerves and fear that you're experiencing within your mind. And I think just knowing how and why that physiological reaction happens can help you to understand it and erase a little bit of the fear around it at the same time. Another symptom, probably the biggest symptom of a panic attack in fact, is overwhelming fear. It's extremely difficult to describe this feeling to someone who hasn't experienced it. It's almost like you can't put the feeling into words. It's just horrible. But the best way I can describe it is that you feel like you're going insane. You lose all control, and to be blunt, you feel like you're going to die. It's this deep sense of impending doom or disaster that you feel utterly, utterly desperate to escape from, whether that means passing out, or, like I mentioned in the previous video, if God came down and offered to end it all, you'd snap his hand off just to escape that feeling. It is truly terrifying and the most uncomfortable that you'll ever feel outside of physical pain, I think. Again, this fear response is your body's alarm system kicking in to try and alert you to danger. Now, there are other symptoms, but these are the main ones, and I've personally experienced all of these in my attacks. So what do I do when I experience a panic attack? Well, first of all, there's no doubt about it, I'm an absolute mess. I'm not going to lie and say that the following things are instant cures. They're not, but they can help. First of all, breathing is so important. Fast breathing causes hyperventilation. You will find yourself shallow breathing in a panic attack because more oxygen is being supplied as your body adapts, ready to run away. To counter that, try and use your whole tummy to breathe so you can physically see your tummy expand and contract. Keep your breaths slow and even. Have a look at this looping video and try and time your breaths to fit it. As the shape expands, inhale, and as the shape contracts, breathe out. Whilst regulating your breathing, try tensing and relaxing all of your muscle groups one by one, starting from your toes all the way up your body. Tense as hard as you can for 5 or 10 seconds, then release. This works best when you're lying or sitting down, and this progressive muscle relaxation helps dissolve anxiety and tension, counteracting the fight or flight response and letting your body know that it's okay to relax and it isn't in any danger. Another thing I do is physically remove myself from the situation I'm in. If you're outdoors, go indoors. If you're at work, go into a different room. Sometimes simply changing your surroundings can help. I don't know the science behind it, but it's worth a try. Grounding techniques also help sometimes, like counting backwards from 300. The aim is to focus your mind on something other than the panic response. Try examining in detail using all your senses, everything around you. Alternatively, choose one thing you can see and analyse it to the nth degree, any and every part of it, no matter how small. Throughout all this, I try and remind myself that it feels awful, yes, but it is only temporary. The brain cannot maintain a heightened state of panic. Most attacks last half an hour at the most. That goes hand in hand with trying not to fight the attack. Fighting it makes it 100 times worse. Sort of make friends with the feeling, recognise how shitty you feel, and remind yourself to simply let time pass instead of frenziedly begging for it to be over. This is difficult, I know, because all you'll want is for it to stop. Try to observe your thoughts and accept that this is your body's inbuilt alarm system. It's just going off when it doesn't need to. Now this one is a little harder. Try having a 1-minute burst in a cold shower. Time it on your phone. Scream through it if you have to. After the initial shock, it becomes invigorating and it can totally stop a panic attack in its tracks. Apparently, this short exposure to cold water can reduce cortisol, which is the fight or flight hormone, increase endorphins, which give you a feeling of euphoria and stress relief, and bring down your heart rate, which, as I said, almost always goes rapid during a panic attack. Now, if you really can't manage the shower or you're in a situation where that's not possible, try plunging your hands into cold water or splashing some on your face. The main goal is to shock and interrupt the panic response and cut it off by giving your body something bigger to concentrate on and react to. So those are the things I do to help when I'm in the midst of an attack. But there are also techniques I have for those times when anxiety feels more general and lasts longer, when you're feeling horribly on edge but not quite in the throes of an attack. I have a couple of days like this sometimes and it's horrible, so hopefully these things might help. When you're feeling overwhelmed and extremely anxious, take things right back to basics. Give yourself one small goal each day. When I was going through one of my periods of anxiety, I felt like everything was a massive mountain to climb and it made me sick with nerves. Putting the shopping away, making tea, doing a spot of housework, it all felt impossible. So I decided to try and take away those pressures and aim for one small achievement per day that I could focus on and dismiss everything else. One day I remember I made it my mission to nip to the shop for batteries that we needed, and that was it. I didn't think about anything else that needed doing. I didn't concern myself with anything to come in the future. I just concentrated on getting those batteries, and that helped take the pressure off. Doing this is also great for depression, those times you can't get out of bed for days on end. Just try and set yourself one small manageable task. The next thing is to have a walk around the block. You don't have to go far, just a couple of streets if that's all you can manage. And if you can't even face that, go and sit in the garden for a while or stand at your back door. The primitive part of your brain that causes anxiety can only focus on one thing at a time, which is why the grounding techniques earlier about describing things you can see and counting back from 300 work really, really well. So taking a walk and giving the brain a different visual stimulus can distract the brain from the anxiety long enough to give you a bit of breathing room and perspective. If you've got a pedometer or a step counter on your phone, use it to set a small daily goal that you can increase over the coming days, which will give you an achievable goal just like me with the batteries. A major thing that helps me combat anxiety is listening to music. It's cliche, but I honestly believe music is food for the soul. A good song can completely change how you're feeling, whether it be that the lyrics are meaningful to you or just something within the melody makes you feel a certain way. One song that lifts me up every time I hear it is by Florence and the Machine, and it's called Dog Days Are Over. I interpret it as escaping the black dog, which is another name for depression. The music in this song is rousing and I can't help feeling really upbeat when I listen to it. So make yourself a playlist of your favourite songs that you can put on quickly, and always listen to it as loud as possible. Music wasn't meant to be played quietly, in my opinion. If you're going to listen to it, do it properly. Now, if you feel you're not coping and the anxiety is going on for a long time, ask your GP to refer you or self-refer to a talking service if it's available in your area. In the UK, we have wellbeing services that you can access, where a trained person will assess you over the phone and get whatever help they feel is most fitting for your situation. It's not a scary thing, you just explain to them how you're feeling, they ask you a few questions, and then they'll get you into CBT, counselling or psychotherapy depending on what they think will be best. If you feel like you're reaching crisis point and you need help immediately, ring the Samaritans or whichever helpline is in your country. I'll leave a list of numbers below this video, and get talking to someone as soon as you can. Even a short conversation with someone who's not involved can really help tug you out of that horrible headspace and back into feeling like you're able to manage things a little bit better. In the UK, we have a free text service called Shout, which is open 24/7, and it's great if you don't like speaking over the phone because you can just text someone. A great Instagram account I discovered is called It's Okay, Need to Talk. It's run by two sisters, and they now dedicate their lives to answering every single message they receive and giving people someone to talk to. Some reading material that I found helpful are the books Making Friends with Anxiety by Sarah Rayner and Self-Help for Your Nerves by Claire Weeks. The latter was written quite some time ago, so a couple of the ideas are quite dated, but never before have I felt that someone understood what I was experiencing than when I first read this book. My copy's got loads of sections highlighted where I've read them and I've thought, yes, that is me. And the book by Sarah Rayner really makes you feel like you're normal, human, and certainly not alone in feeling the way you do. And it teaches you how to live alongside anxiety whilst not letting it control your life. One last book is called The Thrive Programme by psychotherapist Rob Kelly, and there are two different versions, one for general mental health issues and the other for emetophobia. I've read both. It's a comprehensive programme with no nonsense, very down-to-earth language that helps you get your head around what's happening in your head and how to help yourself come out of it and thrive so that you're not just existing, you're living. I really can't recommend that book enough. Everything I've mentioned will be linked in the description below so you can find it easily. That's about it from me, but what I would love is for this video to become a helpful resource for anyone suffering anxiety and panic attacks. And for that, I need your help. First of all, share it with anyone you think might need it. And secondly, if you have any other advice or techniques for overcoming these issues that I haven't mentioned, please leave them in a comment below. The more tips and tricks we share, the more tools we'll have collected to combat this horrible thing. So please, if you have anything that works for you, I would love to hear it, and I'm sure other viewers would too. Thank you so much for watching, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon on Colour with Claire.